And we're here with Robert Cook, finishing up the second part of, I guess, week 2, the first part of it, talking about drugs. We talked about a little bit how drugs in the first segment are fun, but if you knew the truth about them and how they continue to tear you down, that you would really see it and for what it is and something that's only there to hurt you. And the one segment that we're in right now is talking a lot about the way Satan presents drugs to us. Can you talk a little bit about what he does?
Yeah, I think maybe just if I could read just a couple of sentences from my book, it'll really explain it. Because a lot of teenagers that do drugs do it because they have this mindset, well, it's going to make me look cool with my friends, okay? And so I just wanted to read a little excerpt here, okay? That's the real reason most people do drugs. They think they'll impress their friends, that doing drugs will make them popular. Here's the problem. That's a lie invented by Satan. The Bible calls him the father of lies. It's what he does. He's the best at it. It's at the top of his resume. The Bible says he's a roaring lion searching the whole world for people to destroy and devour. You ever see a lion rip apart its prey? That's what Satan wants to do to you. And that's the problem, is that Satan packages things to make it look like it's really good. And we were talking about a cigarette packet. They put a disease blackened, cancer-ridden lung on the front of a cigarette package and maybe called it black lung cigarettes. People probably wouldn't purchase that and start smoking, but they have all the commercials and a great lifestyle, and the Winston Marlboro guy or whatever smoking a cigarette, looking cool in his chaps, and we buy into that, and then later on it gets revealed for what it really is. And so it's not cool. You may think it's cool, but laying in a hospital bed with an oxygen tank strapped to you while you can't breathe, makes you look kind of stupid, unfortunately. You're not cool. So,
And going off of that, we also have a lot of, I think our people that watch the show, and that people watch this video, they are kind of people that say, well, I don't do it, but my friends do, or I'm around the situation, but I know how to avoid it. What advice or what can you tell them?
Well, the best thing I could tell them is, I talk about a story that happened a couple years ago. There was this woman, that kind of upper class woman, very well known in Philadelphia, but she was a drug dealer. And she had her boyfriend living in the same building, and they had a whole bunch of drugs. And these two men decided they were going to rob the drug dealers. And one of the robbers' girlfriends lived in the building, and it had a key code. You had the code, or have somebody let you in. You buzz and get let in. And so this guy talked to his girlfriend and said, listen, we're going to rob them. We're going to split the money with you. All you have to do is buzz us in, open up the door. There were security cameras everywhere. They saw that the woman came down, opened up the door for the two guys. The guys came in to rob them. Within seconds, the robbery went bad, and they killed both drug dealers and took the drugs. And when it went to court, this 24-year-old girl, she got life in prison without the possibility of parole for 2 murders. And she never pulled the trigger. All she did was open the door for them. So she didn't have to be the shooter. She didn't have to be the drug dealer, the robber, nothing. She just opened the door, and she threw her life away for that, And so I would say, you don't have to be involved in it. If you're in a car with someone who's on drugs, you could end up paralyzed, or worse, you could die, and then your family would be devastated, So I would say avoid it, even if it seems like it's fun, it's not.
That's just a great, story. I feel horrible for the person, but it's so great is how, and it sort of goes together with saying how easy we let Satan into our lives, how easy it is to open that door, how easy, because, and I was talking to you during the break, we want to open that door at times because we're so, we want to, that's our nature, our human nature is like we want it to be that way. And so what we do is we just will open it just enough. So, I'm not really that bad, but I'm just doing that. And all of a sudden it's just opening the door, and it can lead to so much more.
Yeah, I always say sin takes you further than you want to go, keeps you longer than you want to stay, and costs you more than you want to pay.
That is a slogan that definitely, I think, rings definite truth in all of our lives. And I know, and then what I love about you is that you continue to put verses in the book. Can you sort of talk about the Proverbs as we sort of wrap up this week? Can you give us a little bit of a talk about what Proverbs means, how we should take it, and how we should look at it?
Yeah, if you keep in your memory that story I just told you about the girl who they came and said, just open the door. I mean, I'm thinking if she would have read this, she wouldn't have opened the door because it's like it was written for her. And it's in Proverbs 1:10-19. It says, my son, if sinners entice you, do not give in to them. If they say, come along with us, let's lie in wait for someone's blood. Let's waylay some harmless soul. Let's swallow them alive like the grave and whole like those who go down to the pit. We will get all sorts of valuable things and fill our houses with plunder. Throw in your lot with us, and we will share a common purse. My son, do not go along with them. Do not set foot on their paths, for their feet rush into sin. They are swift to shed blood. How useless to spread a net in full view of all the birds. These men lie in wait for their own blood. They waylay only themselves. Such is the end of all who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the lives of those who get it. And if you remember what I said that the police viewed the video footage because there was cameras in every hallway and in the foyer, that's like where they talk about you spread a net in full view of the birds. That woman was caught on camera letting the men in with no masks on when they did their crime. It was like they were not going to succeed. There was no chance from the beginning. But when you go after ill-gotten gain, it says it takes away the lives of all who go after it. And those two men and the woman all got life in prison without parole, and they were all under the age of 25. That's a long time in prison, you know.
It's life. A choice is vital, and choices are vital, and we make them every day, and hopefully we can continue to lead the correct way. I just want to thank you again, Robert, for joining us today. Is there any advice that you would sort of give people that are reading this book or that have sort of listened today, that little tidbits of how they can start taking processes forward? Anything you'd like to share with people before we head out today?
I would say, first of all, don't open the door. Pretty simple, you know, and don't hang out with people that are going to destroy your life. You have to live your own life. And you know what? Life is great. It's fun, you know, and when you're 16, you think you're invincible and you have your whole life ahead of you. We're not invincible, but we could have a long life if we don't do stupid things and waste it on drugs and alcohol and things like that. You know, life is too precious, and once it's gone, there's nothing that can bring it back. I've seen, you know, people cry over caskets, you know, and wish they had one more minute with that person. Don't do that to your family. And you know, we're going to be having a father on in 2 weeks on the show here who his son overdosed on heroin. And, you know, he's had to suffer through, you know, the loss of his son. And, you know, so we're going to get to see from the other side about what we do to parents when we throw our lives away like that. So don't open the door.
That's just good advice, and we're talking to you guys, those that are watching, those that are watching on our demand. Don't open the door and start figuring out who you're around, who you're hanging out with. Just good stuff from Robert Cook today. Hey, Robert, I want to thank you for joining us today, and can't wait to talk to you very, very soon. So thanks again for being with us today.
Thank you. Take care, man.
Hey, you too. Here's Family Force 5. We will be right back on the Seriously Serious Show.